National Security Advisor John Bolton visited the CIA last week along with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. This comes as tensions brew with Iran, though President Trump says he wants Iran to call him. RT's Dan Cohen joining us now with more to this discussion. Okay, Dan, first break this down for us. Bolton at the CIA, that seems kind of ominous.
Yes, it's definitely raising a lot of eyebrows that John Bolton, Trump's very hawkish neoconservative national security advisor, along with Mike Pompeo, the Defense Intelligence Agency chief Dan Cohen, and a host of others were at the CIA. I mean, this is not a common occurrence. It's very unusual, and for many, it harkens back to 2002 when Dick Cheney, top Bush administration officials, were visiting the CIA, and according to analysts who were there at the time, these officials were pressuring them to basically cook up intelligence that Saddam Hussein and al-Qaeda were linked, and that ended up being one of the major justifications for warring Iraq that, of course, was totally false. So very interesting times here. So
tell us about the B-52 bombers and Qatar. What do they have to do with this? Why are they being deployed?
Well, now, yes, the U.S. has sent a squadron of bombers to Qatar, which is a U.S. ally directly across from the Persian Gulf from Iran. And on the south side, you have basically a number of U.S. allies, and this is all centered around the Strait of Hormuz. This is the key waterway where a huge amount of oil is shipped. Not only Iranian oil, but Saudi oil, Emirati oil. And when the U.S. basically announced it's going to do everything it can to cut off Iranian oil from being transferred through there, the Iranians said, well, we'll just shut down the entire waterway. And so it's only 7 miles wide. I mean, it's a very small area that could lead to, you know, if there's
could lead to conflict, obviously.
Exactly, that could escalate and bring in world powers. So very dangerous.
So how exactly is Iran responding to the Trump administration and their moves? I mean, that's kind of provocative.
Well, on Thursday, we saw President Trump make this kind of surprise move where he basically abandoned the 12 demands that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo had laid out and said, well, I want Iran to call me. He said that, he said that Thursday. And then the Iranians responded and said, we're not going to call you. There's not going to be any more negotiations. And while that sounds like a hard line, I mean, there's already been negotiations with the U.S. They came up with the Iran deal, and the Iranians agreed to it and were abiding by its terms. And last year,
here's the U.S. backing out.
Exactly. The U.S. backed out, unilaterally withdrew in violation of the deal. Well, the Europeans, you know, basically
are trying to keep it together.
They're trying to keep it together. The Iranians are saying, you know, they're going to back out in 60 days, partially, and they're, but you know, they don't see any reason. Well, why should we negotiate with the U.S. when they already broke this monumental deal that they made?
Right. The U.S. has shown that they are not willing to keep their word, so why broker any more deals, right?
Exactly. And so we even see Democratic candidates talking about, well, let's use the Trump administration's leverage that they've created by backing out of the deal and basically with all of these threats of a war to make a new deal. So it's even a bipartisan thing. It's not just, you know, the neocons in the Trump administration. It's also, we see this from Democrats too.
Definitely playing politics with war, as always. All right, thank you for filing that report. RT's Dan Cohen.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.